Good morning, first graders. Welcome to your math lesson for today on comparing numbers. Now, I know you just watched the Brain Pop Junior video all about comparing numbers and about the different symbols that we're going to use when we're comparing our numbers. But before I go into that, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. This is my dinosaur. Well, really, it's Tino's dinosaur. And he is very, very hungry, okay? And you'll notice here his mouth opens up, okay? So we're gonna kind of pretend that his mouth is almost like one of the comparing symbols that we learned about in our Brain Pop video, okay? So we learned about this one. This is called less than, okay? And then we learned about our other symbol, which is greater than. And you'll kind of notice, just like the video taught us, that the symbols, the greater than and less than symbols, kind of look like a mouth, right? So we're gonna kind of use this dinosaur's mouth as our visual to visualize greater than and less than. And you'll kind of notice the way his mouth is right now, that kind of shows the greater than symbol, okay? So you kind of want to imagine that these numbers that we're comparing are kind of like food for the hungry dinosaur or hungry alligator or whatever animal you want to pretend is very, very hungry. Okay, so I have some jelly beans to feed my friend here, okay? Now I have 2 black jelly beans. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 red jelly beans. Okay? Now, if I want to feed my very, very hungry dinosaur some jelly beans, do you think that I would choose to feed him the 6 jelly beans or the 2 jelly beans? What do you think? If I want to make sure that he doesn't feel hungry anymore, I want to give him as much food as possible. Would I give him 2 or would I give him 6? Yeah, I would definitely want to give him the 6 jelly beans because 6 is more than or greater than 2, right? So we want to give him these 6 jelly beans. So if I were comparing the numbers 2 and 6, I would say that 6 is greater than 2. I'll show you on my board here. So if I had the numbers 6 and 2, I would say that 6 is greater than 2. And you can kind of pretend that this is that dinosaur's mouth. Is he going to want to eat the 6? Or is he going to want to eat the 2? Well, he'll definitely want to eat the 6. So we want to make sure his mouth is pointing towards the greater number. 6 is greater than, that's what this symbol means, 6 is greater than 2. Okay? All right, so now that we've talked about that a little bit, let's move on to our problems that we need to solve for today. The first problem says 6 blank 16. And what our job is to write one of the comparing symbols on that line. Okay, so the 3 symbols that we can choose from are greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, so let's look at that number 6 and 16. I also have my my hundreds chart here to help me as well. Okay, so here I have the number 6, and here I have the number 16. Which number is greater, 6 or 16? Imagine those jelly beans. If you had 6 jelly beans in one hand and 16 jelly beans in your other hand, which would be more? Giving you some think time. Definitely, yeah, 16 would be more than 6. I know my buddy here would rather eat 16 jelly beans instead of just 6 jelly beans. right? So when I write my symbol, I want to make sure that the mouth is open towards that bigger number there, okay? 6 is less than 16, okay? When you're reading that, because 6 is coming first, we're going to read it as 6 is less than 16. The point is pointing to the smaller number and it's eating that bigger number. Okay, let's read that again. 6 is less than 16. Should we do one more together? Yeah, let's do one more together. Number 2 reads 20 blank 30. Okay, so I need to figure out which symbol to put here. Now, I showed you how I would use my hundreds chart to help me solve the problem, but now I want to see if I can use tens and ones to see which number is greater. Okay, so I'm going to make a little, oops. I'm going to make a place value chart. Okay, there's my place value chart. I have tens and ones. And I'm comparing the numbers 20 and 30. Okay, so here I'm going to show you what 20 looks like. 10, 20. Okay, there's 20. Okay, and now let's see what 30 would look like. 10, 20, 30. Okay, here's 20, here's 30. So do you think we should write 20 is greater than 30? 20 is less than 30? Or 20 is equal to 30? What do you think? 20 is what when you compare it to 30? There's our 20 and 30 on our hundreds chart. Yeah, I agree with you. I think 20 is definitely less than 30. 20 is less than 30 because 30 has more tens. 20 only has 2 tens, but 30 has 3 tens. That's how I know 30 is greater. That's how I know 20 is less than. So I would write 20 is less than 30. And you're going to complete this same strategy, whether you use the place value chart or a hundreds chart, or whether you find some jelly beans or other things in your home to count out the different quantities. You're going to solve the rest of our problems to decide if the numbers are less than, greater than, or equal to each other. Okay? I hope you guys have a wonderful first day back from spring break, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, first graders.